Good evening, everybody. This is Talking in Board Games, our second episode. I'm your host, Jay Bruce, and this is my guest,
Scott Harris.
And so today we've got a game of checkers going on. Haven't quite started it, but that's all right. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Scott.
Well, I swim.
Swim, always good.
I play lacrosse. I used to bike until it got cold.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I actually biked with you for a while. So
Well, yes.
I like to play guitar.
I like to play guitar.
Used to play piano.
I see. So all sorts of talents we've got here. So tell us, Scott, you are how old now?
15.
15. So many people, it's actually kind of funny. Many people think you're older than you say you are, right?
Should I stand up to give an example here? Or?
Well, if you want, show them how tall you are.
All right.
I think you might actually be taller than me now, but
I've gone over the screen a bit, but whatever.
just to put it into perspective. But yeah, no, it sounds like you've got like a lot of different interests that you're kind of involved with, I guess.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I'm not necessarily best at all of them, but
Well,
I mean, it's
who
fun.
is? And so yeah, tell us a little bit about lacrosse.
Well, I mean, honestly, I haven't been that involved lately because I've been doing swim. And honestly, the only times I've really been able to go to lacrosse lately is during a winter league we're doing right now.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, we usually play whether it's raining or not, so because it's usually on a turf field. And though I don't think it snowed and we've had a game on the same day, but I know we had one game canceled because it was too cold.
Oh yeah. I mean, that would cancel every game because it's too cold if it were me.
No,
but,
you don't know. You don't know.
I don't know cold.
You do not know cold until you've been to the fall brawl.
So I've actually heard a lot about how cold that was. What was the temperature that day?
I don't remember exactly what it was, but let me put it in perspective. So, I was, like, the first time I ever went to the fall brawl, I was wearing full Under Armour, a ski mask, 2 to 3 layers of shirts and a couple of pants and like shorts over that.
Right, yeah.
And hand warmers, feet warmers, just about
everywhere
you
yeah.
could think. And by the end, I was still pretty much freezing cold.
Even with all that?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And playing lacrosse is like you're out on the lacrosse field.
That was the good part because we were running around.
Well, but you were still cold, even with the running around and all the
It was very brittle.
brittle. And so it was really cold. And how long did you have to be out there now?
Well, it was we went out there about 7 in the morning, and all the games ended about 4 in the afternoon.
So you were out there
Yes.
in the freezing cold
Yes.
for 9 hours.
Just about.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, there was plenty of intermissions between games,
Well,
during which we actually brought hot chocolate to the games.
Good.
Though it didn't last long in the thermos, which got cold after about, I think, 1 game.
It got cold after a game.
Yes.
And this thermos is supposed to keep things
Yes.
warm all day. I see. So it was really cold.
A little bit. A little bit cold.
I see. And so
That's usually why nowadays, whenever it's like 30 out, I kind of walk around in a t-shirt, but
you're used to the cold by now.
hopefully.
Well, and so that's interesting though. So you play lacrosse like all year round.
Well, yeah, except when swim comes into play. Because I will play lacrosse as much as I can even if I'm doing swim. Like for the fall brawl, I took off a couple practices of swim to actually practice with my team for that.
Sure, right.
But I haven't been able to go to many of the conditionings or weightliftings because I've been doing swim right now. And I'm hoping to actually get back fully on into that after I'm fully done with swim.
I see.
Yeah.
And so how do you feel, and this a little bit off topic, but it sounds like, you've got all these different sports like swimming and lacrosse and all that. So how do you feel that like colleges feel about you having all these sports kind of like at the same time and like all year round?
Well, That's a tough question. So how would colleges feel? I mean, I'd hope they'd be kind of impressed that
Well,
I'm able
right,
to
I
do
am.
this, but well, I guess it kind of shows a bit of multitasking.
That's good.
Well, I mean, that depends on
How well you do each
you're
task, right?
yeah, because I think there's been some studies showing that multitasking is actually, like, let's say you think you're really good at like texting on your phone while
Driving.
sure.
Sure. All right.
So studies apparently show that instead of being very good at both, you're about half as
Half
good
as
as you
good at each one.
normally are. Yeah.
And then if you've got like 3 things going on, I'm guessing it's a third or so good at
Yes.
each one. I see. But I mean, I think it really does show a lot of dedication to, maybe you're not doing all of them like at the exact same time, because like you said, you take off of lacrosse to do swimming and vice versa. But
well,
for the most part.
I
yeah.
mean, swimming doesn't usually overlap with lacrosse, so. I mean,
Well, except the winter, but
well, yeah, of course.
And so that's interesting. So how long have you been doing, for example, swimming? Like how many years have you been playing, or swimming, I guess?
Now, we're talking for the high school team or for like a community team?
Oh, well, both, I guess.
All right, for the high school team, I've been playing since freshman year, so that's about 2 years at this point.
Okay.
And for like a community thing I was doing, I think I was around, I don't want to say I was around 6, maybe 7. I was just like starting like the little kitty thing.
Well, right, but
beginning to practice it.
so you're 15 now. You've been swimming since you were 7.
Yes.
So you've been swimming for more than half your life.
Yeah, when you see me swim, it's not exactly showing, but you've seen me swim. You know how fast I go.
Wow.
I'm decent. I'm good at freestyle, I want to say, and backstroke. Apparently, I'm very good at it compared to others. But
Well, compared to me.
I mean, you could blow me out of the water at breaststroke. I physically cannot do breaststroke.
And we all have our different strengths, especially like in particular sports. It's not like somebody playing, let's say, lacrosse is going to be necessarily good at like all the different positions, right?
Yeah, I'm mostly sticking to defense.
Defense. I see. And so because like I know a lot of different sports, especially the team sports, you have all the different things like defense and offense and the midfield and whatever. And so what exactly does playing defense in lacrosse like entail, I guess?
All right. Basically, the most important thing you need to know is don't let the ball get within 10 feet of your goal or goalie.
I see.
That is probably the most important thing to know as a defender.
And that's about it?
No, that's probably not about it, but it's definitely the most important part. Just don't let the ball get near your goal.
So it's a lot like other sports, like say soccer, you don't necessarily want the ball like right next to your goal, right?
Yeah. Yes. Basically, just don't let the ball near your goalie, your goal, or nowhere near like the crease near the goal.
The crease.
The crease is basically it's essentially just around the goal, like a little outer layer around the goal.
Oh, okay,
Usually,
okay.
Sometimes you'd structure yourself like to be on the crease.
I see.
Like left, right, on crease. So.
And so, like in a game, will the coach be like calling out to be like at the left or the right of the crease, or do you just kind of got to figure it out yourself?
It's you. I used to. I'm pretty sure. I believe the coach used to tell us specifically to do that when I used to do SYC. But now in Hayfield, basically you just talk to your teammates about it.
Okay.
And then probably a very important part is listening to the goalie.
Right.
Listening to the goalie will save so many goals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because they're protecting the goal.
Yeah. And the goalie will usually see things you do not see.
Oh really? So like.
I mean, because the goalie has to be much more attentive. Because ball.
Well, right. You don't want it to get.
Yeah, you don't want to get it. Actually, I did play goalie for a little bit during my days in one. I'll be honest. I only played it for 2 games. The first game I did pretty well, but I want to say that's because we had a really good defense. Because they only got 1 goal on me. The second game, I just honestly don't remember. I'm pretty sure I didn't block as many goals.
But it was your second time doing it, right?
Yeah. And after that, I've never done goalie since.
I see. Bad memories.
Well, I mean, for one thing, the ball is constantly heading towards you at a speed of however fast the
Right, yeah.
the attackman can like throw it. Mm-hmm. And there's some people who can throw it unbelievably fast. I've seen it on my team many times.
I would
It's
imagine.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's probably one of the reasons I don't want to be goalie again.
Oh, yeah.
For that reason, like you can get hit during when you're like just defending.
Well, can. I mean,
You can, but like it's a very good thing if you get hit and the goal doesn't.
Oh, well, I guess, yeah.
Like,
for the game.
Well, yeah,
but,
for the game, of course.
But, I mean, for yourself, doesn't it kind of...
Let me put it this way: it stings. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like just a quick. It goes away after a while. It might leave a bruise, but you'll be fine. You won't die from it.
Well, I would hope not. I mean,
I guess it depends on where it hits you. So.
I see. And so speaking of dangerous sports and positions, like in lacrosse specifically, what would you say? Because, a lot of people talk about how like dangerous it is and people getting like concussions and whatnot in lacrosse specifically, but other contact sports. And so what would you say is the most dangerous position in lacrosse?
I'm going to have to say it's a tie between attack and midi.
Attack and midi.
All right, I want to say midi because you're constantly running back and forth because the ball is constantly going back and forth.
And you gotta like be in the middle of like all the action, I guess, in a sense. I see.
And then once you get to the other side, defenders will usually lay you out. Like,
lay you out.
Basically knock you to the ground. They will just ruin your day.
They're allowed to knock you down.
Yes.
I see. And with the large metal stick.
Well, all right, let me put it this way. You can't just run up to someone and just
smack them with the
like
stick.
full go all the way back.
Okay.
Even though I do have a story of my brother doing that once, but that was
a different story.
That was kind of justified at the time.
I see.
So basically, like you can like full on. You can like do full on charges, but that's usually not a good idea because the midi or attackman will, I must say, most of the time be faster than you.
Oh, and dodge it?
Will dodge it. And then you're just going full speed in a direction while they're running towards your goal.
Right, yeah.
And that is not good. You don't want that to happen ever.
I see. And so, yeah, it sounds like in lacrosse, you've got like all this running around and hitting people and dodging and whatnot. So how exactly do you, like, what's the training regimen for lacrosse? Like, what do you do to practice?
For one thing, there's many footwork drills, passing drills. We definitely run a decent bit. They're like practicing to clear the ball, which is basically getting your goalie has the ball and you're like he's trying to throw it to the other side of the field, and while like giving it to like either a defender or a midi, he'll usually give it to a defender to throw it to a midi so it can get on the other side.
Or
of
he
the
might
field.
just pass it to the midi, you said?
Yeah, or if things could get really bad, he'll pass it straight to the defender and he'll like run up the field. And sometimes, very occasionally, like it can happen sometimes with very good defenders who are possibly also play other positions. They will run across the line, yelling midi back, and a midi will stay back so it's even on both sides.
Okay.
And then they'll take a shot at the goal.
From the like back?
No. They'll get close. They'll get
close to the other guy's goal.
See, the reason why this isn't like the greatest idea is because it's a long pole against a long pole. Like you have a giant pole, and then there's another defender has a large pole. You have a much higher chance of getting the ball knocked out of your stick.
I see.
So
that's not a good idea. So
it can be very a good idea if you have the skill to do it.
I see. So I guess you don't normally play like offensively from what you've said in the lacrosse?
I've played many before, though like when I was in SYC, I didn't do too well at it, honestly. I usually like to stay defense. I kind of just like defense in general.
I see. Well, it makes sense. You're, a taller guy, so you're able to block people more, I guess. And so with that, so you like defense. Are there any like strategic things you do differently than other people who play defense? Are there any like things you try to do when you play?
I'll be totally honest with you. Not really.
Not really.
I mean, like I'll listen to the coach and I'll listen to my teammates, make
Sure.
sure I get things done.
Well,
Yeah,
you know,
I'll do my best to defend,
whatever works.
even if my best isn't the best at
You know,
times.
it's whatever. And so, all right. So I guess on the subject of sports, not necessarily lacrosse, but why do you think it is that? Because it seems like a lot of people, right? They'll either like say backstroke, or they might like breaststroke, or they might like fly or free. And so, what do you think it is exactly that makes a person like one sport over the or not one sport, one stroke over the other?
All right. It's all about preference.
Well, yes.
And which one you are good at, essentially. All right, so you're not good, like you're not necessarily good at freestyle, you said, or backstroke.
Nah.
So the reason for this is because do you find them more straining, or
Well-
do you find them like more work than to do than, let's say, breaststroke?
A bit. Like, it's interesting you say that, because after like a 100 breast, when I really like give it my all, like I can definitely feel it like right here. But then with that, like with really any stroke, when I like really give it my all, it's kind of the same like strain. But for whatever reason, like I've always kind of preferred to do breaststroke. And so I'm just wondering, like, do you have any idea why that might be the case, and why people might like one stroke over the other, like what it is exactly?
I mean, honestly, it all depends on how it feels when you're doing it. Like for me, and breaststroke, it feels very awkward whenever I try.
I see.
Because I'm pretty sure it's always my legs that mess me up. I can do the actual like stroke my hands perfectly fine. But it's like you have to sync it up with your legs. and
Right, yeah.
I never could get that down.
Okay.
When with freestyle, all you have to do is like just
Go fast, I guess, yeah.
like and it also requires a little bit of technique, like stretching out your arm longer than.
Sure, yeah.
And as for backstroke, I'm probably gonna say that's possibly my favorite out of freestyle and backstroke. Well,
All the strokes?
out of the stroke, all of the strokes, namely because you never need to take a breath.
That's true,
mostly
'cause
you
Head is out of the water.
as long as your head doesn't just bob back in, which if it does, then
You're not very good at backstroke.
and it's very awful when that happens.
Yeah, I know.
Like it's just one of the worst feelings.
No, not being terrible, yes. But yeah, so it's funny you mentioned the like freestyle and backstroke specifically, because if you think about it, you know, the technique, it's kind of like almost a similar like reaching with the freestyle and backstroke, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but like the thing with backstroke is, I feel like it's my arms doing the most of the work. Because whenever I'm doing
yeah.
backstroke, sometimes I feel like I don't use my legs enough.
Wow.
That's my only problem with backstroke. I feel like I'm not using my legs enough, which
see.
is probably what slows me down during big races.
And so, yeah, it's actually interesting you say that, because I feel like a lot of people, you know, we tend to focus more like with our arms when we swim, or at least I do and you do. And it's just like something about the legs, like, you know, you'll try to learn the technique and you'll do all like the kicking drills and practice and all that, but it just seems like they never go like quite as much strength as the arms do, you know?
Let me put it this way. I'm not sure if we actually discussed this during or before the recording. We were talking about multitasking, right? And think about it this way. When you're practicing one, instead of doing both at the same time, if you're practicing one, do you find yourself doing better or worse?
Practicing one stroke.
Like, let's say we have we're doing kickboards, freestyle kick. Do you think you're going faster than you would normally if you were kicking the same
absolutely.
way you were doing?
Yeah. I mean, because it's like when you're doing the freestyle like stroke, you're kind of focused more on like getting that distance, and it just seems like putting all that energy into your legs, like it just never seems to get there. The energy, you know what I mean?
I swear. So, I believe can't remember if it was this meet or the meet before that, but like I do. I was doing backstroke, right?
Sure.
And basically, I felt like I was going unbelievably slow.
Oh, really?
Even though that wasn't the case, like mentally I thought I was going very slow, because like I felt like I wasn't kicking enough.
I see.
And I was like, I was kind of bobbing down,
Right,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. And Yeah, basically, kicking is a very key essential part of this,
Well, yeah.
and you need to basically remember to do it.
Yeah, because it's interesting. Like you don't think you're kicking all that much in like freestyle or backstroke or something, but then it's like when they tell you to do just the what's it called? It's not drill. It's not kick. It's when you just have the arms, if you know what I mean, and it's a pull, right? When you just do the pull, like you can definitely feel like there's no like leg action happening, and it's kind of hard to keep your legs from like moving. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I think it's kind of interesting that even though they don't do all that much, what they do is really important to the stroke overall, you know?
Yeah.
And so I guess we've kind of talked out swimming at this point.
Pretty much. I mean, like we could keep talking about it. I mean, there's we haven't even touched on butterfly.
Well, yeah, butterfly. Oh my God, just talking about it is kind of tiring, honestly. Actually, yeah, now that I think about it, how do people even like do butterfly?
Butterfly is a rhythm. To me, it's a rhythm when you do it. It's fully a rhythm. You have to get into the correct rhythm. And with me, it's off and on. The entire time, it's off and on. Yeah.
Like being in the rhythm?
Like being in the rhythm. Mm. It's like completely off and on with me whenever I do it. I feel like I'm not doing it fast enough or something like that. And whenever that happens, it's just, it
kind of just like ruins the whole stroke. Like it's hard to get back into that rhythm.
If you get out of the rhythm, you are going to have a hard time getting back in.
No, I definitely agree, because I've been in that situation where it's like you're kind of like you're doing it and you're doing so well, and it's after that first 25 and you are so tired and you just kind of give up.
Yeah, you've been doing the 200 IM seems like a couple recent meets.
Well, I don't know why they put me in that. That is some ridiculous.
Coach Busta.
All right, so I guess going a little off topic here for a moment, just kind of a random out there question. What do you want to do like when you grow up? Because we've been talking a lot about sports, but it's really hard to get like into sports and to like play for money, you know?
All right, let me put it this way. So with me and thinking about future careers, I feel like I'm never actually going to know what I want to do.
Oh, really? Even when you're like out of college and whatnot?
Once I'm in college, right, it's going to be like, so here is what I'm doing. Like I'm in college, and let's say I'm studying X class or X major.
Sure.
I'm trying to major in X, whatever.
Sure.
Well, while I'm studying in X major, whatever, let's say I see something interesting in Y major. I'm like, hey, that's interesting, but I'm already doing X major, so I don't know if I want to switch out or not.
Right, yeah.
So basically, you never really know what you want to do.
Yeah, well, and that's
until you actually get there.
And it's funny you say that, because a lot of like even college sophomores, you know, they'll decide back in like 10th grade or whenever that they're going to do this with their life and they want to do this. But then like halfway through college, you know, since all the starting classes you have to take are basically the same between majors, you know, they'd have already decided they wanted to do something, but then like halfway through college, they'll decide they actually want to do something else, you know? And so do you think it's good for people to try and make that decision early on, or do you think it's kind of just pointless because you're going to change it anyway?
Having a plan is good.
Having a plan.
Having a backup plan is even better. Mm-hmm. Now, depending on what you actually want to do, well, that just depends on what you're good at, what you like to. I feel like one of the major things is you have to be happy with what you're doing.
Happy with what you're doing.
No matter what you're doing, you have to be happy with it.
I see.
If you're not doing something you like, you're not doing something you're not happy with, don't do it.
Even if it makes like a lot of money or something?
Right, well, if it makes a lot of money, that's another interesting point.
Right.
So, yeah, even then, like if it makes X amount of dollars, like let's say you're making billions of dollars, but it's in an industry you hate so much.
Yeah.
Like if you're just doing something that is straining you.
Awful, yeah.
And you just can barely handle it. Just trying it into a different career path.
You think so? So you think that even if you're making like all the money in the world, you should still do something that makes you happy more than anything else?
All right, let me put it this way. You're making all the money in the world, right?
Well, not literally, but
let's just say figuratively, you're making all the money in the world, right?
Yeah.
Is that making you happy?
Not necessarily.
I don't know if that's what makes you happy, you should try and keep that. But like if you want to do if you've always wanted to do something and what you're doing isn't making you happy, don't do it. Like if people do have responsibilities to like family and just think
All right. Well, anyway, that's about the end of this show. I'd like to thank my guest, Scott Harris, for coming on. It was a pleasure having you. It was a good game we had. And so until next time.
Bye.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, though. You know, doing something. Start. All right, and it's a wrap, folks.
Hey. All right, anyways, what were we saying?
No, yeah, but it's actually interesting you say that because a lot of people, they're so focused on trying to make money and thinking that being like successful, you know, making a lot of money, having a high-paying job, whatever.
Successful? You do something you like.
And I agree. I think that even if you're not making as much money as, say, the engineer or the doctor or the scientist or, you know, whatever that wouldn't necessarily make you happy, I think that you should still definitely do what makes you happy.